Hi there crew, this is Ben from Keystone College, and today I'm just going to really quickly talk you through a couple of issues around simple video encoding to reduce the file size of your video files. And this will come into play with the Workplace Health and Safety Assessment, where you need to submit proof that you've made a presentation on workplace health and safety. So this is a really easy assignment, but it scares a lot of people because they don't know how to manage video. So you can shoot the video on your phone if you need to, and if the file size is small enough, you could send it straight from your phone. But if you need to, you can edit it and compress it or encode it on your computer and then send a smaller file size to us. So the file submission system on Moodle is now set to limit the file sizes to 100 megabytes. So you do need to aim for something smaller than that. So first of all, I'm going to recommend some easy, free video compression products that you can get online. On Windows, I'm going to recommend Freemake, Handbrake on Mac, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Premiere Pro and the Adobe Media Encoder because you have them as part of the Adobe suite. They're more advanced, but they are also incredibly powerful. Okay, so on the PC, I really recommend Freemake. It's easy to download, and it's a very simple and functional video compression product. It's very simple to just load the video, clicking here, and I'll just quickly do that. Just drag in an old video project. Okay, so it tells you what the file sizes are, what the audio size is. Now, notice the kilobytes per second is relatively high. 25 frames per second is standard PAL. This is a medium-sized high def. It's not as large as most video files now, high definition files now, but it's still a respectable size. But we may not need that sort of file size for something as simple as proving that we've made a presentation. So what I'd recommend is you come down the bottom, you click on, I tend to recommend MP4. Now we can keep the file size, the resolution, the same as the source, or we can drop it down to a simple preset down here. You can see there's a larger HD. We obviously don't need to go up in size. That's around about the size that it's currently at. We can go down, maybe even TV quality would still be acceptable, and that would bring it down. The estimate here is that will bring it down to 14 megabytes. Okay, so that's a pretty small file size, and you wouldn't have any problem. You could probably even email that if you needed to. So that's Handbrake. It can also output to DVDs and other formats, and it's got plenty of presets, and it's very easy to use. You can even paste URLs from YouTube or encode straight from DVD. Very handy product. Okay. If you're on a Mac, it does work on Windows, but if you're on a Mac, Handbrake is equally functional. Not quite as simple, but it won't give you any problem. I'll jump over onto the Mac and show you.
Okay, so now I'm over on the Mac. Here's Handbrake. I've already opened a source file, so this is really just as easy as just dragging in a file onto the source there. So here you have some of the details about the source. You can choose chapters if it's a DVD, but then you choose the output file, and you can give this a different name. It probably already has a different suffix here. Okay, so the choices are very simple nowadays, and MP4s are pretty reliable. The only advantage I can think of with an MKV is that it supports subtitles, separate subtitles, which, depending on your project, could be very important. the H264 is really MP4, a codex type, so a type of encoding, and it's very efficient and quite high quality. So it goes up to very, very large file sizes, or very, very small. It's very adaptable. So that is really what you should be looking towards, I'd say. I would not change the frame rate or probably anything else. So you can explore this and press start when you're ready, and it will do that encoding for you. I'd also like to really quickly talk about Premiere Pro, because it does come as part of the Creative Cloud and it's very powerful. But as part of Premiere Pro, you also get the media encoder. So the media encoder can encode files, separate files, or it can encode straight out of Premiere Pro or After Effects. So if you install the media encoder, I'm going to start in Premiere Pro just to quickly talk us through some of your options. Here's Ryan in a little project we did to demonstrate how easy it is to talk about workplace health and safety. Now I've edited this one up a little bit, and I'm just going to show you really quickly. You can just drop movie files or any sort of video file, really. Premiere Pro is very adaptable like that, into the project window. So here's the project window, and then when you're ready, you just drag that out there onto your timeline. Notice the audio's down in the audio timeline down there, and it's synced with the video there. So if I move one, the other one moves. Now with that selected, I can trim in from one end or the other. Of course, I can move my playhead up the top here, and I can grab the razor tool, cut that there, and take this clip, drop another one in the middle. If I hold down Alt or Command on the Mac, it inserts a space. I can right click, ripple delete, to remove the space, extra space. And so now I've made a mess, but I think you get the idea. Easy to trim, just grab that there, that handle there, pull it in. Use the razor tool to cut, which is easiest on the playhead. You can use this to play, slide on the playhead. Premiere Pro has an incredible amount of functionality, and I don't expect you to learn that right here and right now. But for simple trimming, it can be fairly straightforward. My suggestion is don't be afraid of it. If you get started, then you'll eventually learn a lot more about it. But if you don't start, you won't get to that point. Okay, so from Premiere Pro though, I can go to File, Export, Export Media. And at this point, it will open up my export settings, and I can start to, here we have the H264 again. So I can name the file to a different file name. I can match the source or not. There is lots and lots of presets here. If you look in here, you're going to find a gazillion presets. Every kind of device and a whole bunch of different web services. So you can make the choices that you need to, but notice this file size is kind of ridiculous, so this won't do. You're going to have a bit of a nightmare submitting that to us. So I recommend that you choose a fairly small, if you do use the Adobe encoder. It does tend towards better quality at the expense of file size, because it's kind of expected that people who are using the Adobe products are looking for a professional finish. But but you can switch that down to an SD, and then I suggest you go in, and under here you'll find bitrate settings, and you see the target bitrate here. I think you can crank that right down. So the maximum bitrate could be 3.5, and the target bitrate could come even further down. Let's get that under 100 megabytes. So now we see that's under 100 megabytes, and this will require a little bit of trial and error. If the video file that it outputs in the end doesn't play, then that's probably a little bit too tight, and you might need to reassess where that's at. But then you press Q, and it will open the Adobe Media Encoder. Now, it's just worth noting you can just add video files here. So you could drag in any old video file. Need to select it, do I? And it will then encode that to your selected preset. That was just a random one, I'm not recommending that. But here's the project file that I just outputted as well. So that's to a custom preset, and I could save that preset here. And I can go back in and edit the output. And when I'm ready, I can start that queue, and it will now render both of those. And it could take some time, and it could also take you some time to upload them once you do get them under 100 meg. But that's kind of the process of working with video. It's just being a little bit patient with the machine while it processes it. Okay, I hope that's helpful for everyone. We'll talk to you soon.